Commission. Roll call.
Dan Cassett.
Present.
Bob Zurich.
Present.
Bob Kleppel.
Here.
Kevin Creedy.
Here.
Jeff Packey. Dwayne Reed.
Yep.
Tessie Steffens.
Here.
Sparky Stuckenschneider.
Here.
Debbie Todebush.
Here.
Dave Waymeyer.
Here.
Betty Werner. And Gavin Woolley.
Here. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes from our last meeting, May 12th.
I have a question about the minutes before we approve them. Did we discuss the long-range plan at the last meeting, subbing it out? Is that what the minutes had said? Or is that something I'm imagining?
I just want to tell you that you've got a great imagination.
Thank you.
I think so.
The long-range plan, like master plan, or what?
Yeah. And it was on the minutes in the email, I thought.
I don't
Okay,
remember.
okay.
Yeah.
Great imagination, though.
Thank
You
you.
were sleeping again. Dreaming.
Huh.
May I have a motion to approve
I make a motion.
without the long range? I'm sorry, where did it come from? Bob Kleppel and second by Bob, the two Bobs. Parks report?
Parks report. So, kind of unexpectedly, I guess right before the pool opened last 2 weeks before the ribbon cutting, we're pretty hectic at the pool. One of the reasons, or two of the reasons, were with that project, there was nothing in the project except seed and straw for all the areas that are sod now. And I didn't think about it. John Neal just brought it up during a meeting, and he said, well, if you seed and straw that, well, one, it'll take forever to come in, but two, the straw will be blown in the pool all summer long, which I did not think about. And I was like, oh my God, that you're right. That would be a pain. And so he's like, I think we need to figure out something, your department, my department, and money, and figure out how to get all that sodded. And initially we were really, he was really concerned about that South Hill, and so that was our main focus. And then we kind of put our heads together and were able to do the rest of it too. So, but that was unexpected. Like I wasn't expecting to have to do all that work. That was a lot of manpower to sod all that. A couple weeks, and that was street department and our department to do that. And then also all the landscaping. Josh did all that. He designed it in-house. We looked at it. I stamped off on it. He purchased all the plants. They installed all the plants. So, I mean, it's just a lot of work. And so my point is that took us away from some other things, say the poles at Main Park and the netting and stuff like that. And so I don't always remember to tell you all that. And I know sometimes questions arise like, why are they not doing X, Y, and Z? Or why did they do X, Y, and Z over here versus that? So I want to explain that a little bit. Next, on July 4th, this is not really real new news, but the city will be sponsoring the Legion with fireworks at the fairgrounds. And so the Legion has a new guy involved that worked for Parks and Rec Department in Arizona. And he's been very nice and easy to deal with. And just, we had a meeting or a couple meetings, and just everything's going well. He's putting the city logo on banners and marketing and stuff like that because the city does supply police and parks in the facility and a lot of stuff that most people don't recognize or think about. But I asked them if we could get the city logo, not necessarily the Parks and Rec logo, but the city logo on all their marketing stuff as a sponsor. So just wanted to make you aware of that. We have the Rotary has come to me and asked to donate. Initially, they asked me to look into seeing what it would cost to donate a funbrella out at the pool, and I think I may have mentioned that to some of you during the ribbon cutting. And so they're wanting to sponsor the umbrella that would be located at the steps coming out of the pool, near the splash pad. And so we have colors, it'll be blue and yellow, so they're colors, and the yellow portion, or panels, I should say, will have their Rotary logo on it. So kind of similar to what the Lions had at the old pool. And so we have one of those, one more location, one more availability of a umbrella left, and that would be over at the competition pool in the north corner by where the old men's locker room was at the old bathhouse. So
What's the cost?
Yeah, what's the cost?
the cost is, I'm still working through that. I had a number and then things have changed, but approximately $5,100. So they're not
And
cheap.
what size, what size?
20, it would be the same size as the one that's there, which is a 20 foot umbrella.
Okay.
So, which is nice and big, so. It'll cover, the one there that the Rotary's doing will cover the steps, part of the steps coming out of the pool, in that area. And so it'll be a nice area for people, especially, in a July when it's 95 degrees and the sun's setting in the west. You'll get some shade from it on the steps. You could actually sit on the steps, and still be in the shade probably that time of day. So it'd be nice.
Do we have any prospects for that other one yet?
Well, it depends what you guys recommend in a little bit for projects for other organizations. But that could be one, yes, that I had on my list anyways. Nothing new to report with illegal trees on the trail. It's still, I don't know, stuck in the courts is the right word, but it's still, I haven't heard, I keep checking on it, but there's nothing new to report, so.
Do we have to wait until that's over before we clean it up, or they clean it up, or who's?
Well, that's part of the process right now. That's probably the most recent thing is they're in discussions, I guess the lawyers are in discussions on cleaning up how that process should work and look and go. But I haven't really heard anything new, like there's nothing coming out like they want to do this or they want to do that. It's just, I've been told it's ongoing, but nothing new to report.
But they're not waiting for a flood to get rid of it, are they?
No,
No, that's all.
they might be waiting for a while the way it looks.
Now, does that almost have to be done in either extreme, warm weather because of the water, because of or extremely cold because of
The water.
No,
ice? The ice.
All got to do with water.
Y'all quit making fun of me.
I don't know that for sure. There hasn't been any, I haven't been told one way or the other. And I don't know that the, Corps of Engineers really, they probably don't care about that. I don't know. I think at this point, we would do it whenever we can, or when, not us, but they should do it whenever they can, as quick as possible, in case it does flood, so.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, is to get it out of there
Yeah.
prior to a flood, and it makes a mess.
Right. I guess with that said, the only other thing I have, and we can discuss this, is I sent out an email to you all about thinking about possible donations. The Lions Club has reached out to me, looking for possible donations for the park system. And I have a few ideas, but I wanted to run it by you all and see if you guys had anything I wasn't thinking of. I can, if you want, I can, and I don't know what the price, they didn't tell me small projects, big projects, they didn't give me any,
Didn't you mention,
any guidelines, but, where is, I have it, so obviously one could be, and I think they probably would be interested in this one, I'm assuming, because I got the email from Dan Hare right after it was in the paper about the Rotary
Rotary, I
donating.
was going to say, I would think that
Donating the umbrella at the pool. So umbrella at the pool, I do have a mock-up, which I have not showed them, of, I may have mentioned it in the email, I can't remember, of rebranding the Lions Lake sign out the lake. It's green.
Oh, yeah.
So I do have a mock-up from Ziegler on what that would look like with their logo on it and everything like that, so I can show them that, and I got an estimate on that. And then the other things I had, maybe money towards the pavilions. That's also right about the same time as the umbrella, I think the article in the paper about the pavilions. And they reached out to me about their signage on the old pavilions and what we were going to do with it, and they didn't want us to throw it away, which we would never do. But I don't know how, going forward, I don't know if the signage that was on the old pavilion should go on the new ones, or how that should work. That may be a discussion we need to have later, but then also maybe money toward, which I still have to get done, I need to contract out and find a painter, painting the caboose. Or another thing that, I guess was one of their projects back in the day, I believe, was the Flag Plaza down on the riverfront.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting a little rough and dated. Some of the concrete and asphalt down there is getting pretty rough, and I don't have it in our budget anywhere. It's something I kind of realized after last budget year, and I don't even know what we would do with it per se. I would need some ideas, some recommendations from someone, but that may be something to look at.
What about the rock around the pavilion pools?
That's kind of what I was
Long
thinking
range.
of too, when I said pavilions, that's what I was kind of
That was
thinking
what you
of.
were
And
thinking.
I do have an update for y'all about that in a little bit. But did anyone have, other than what I mentioned there, any other ideas?
I like them staying around Lions Lake. I think that just kind of a rebranding with the pavilions and everything.
I
that
think
just-
so, too.
I agree.
I think that's a good one.
I agree.
So what was that, Kevin?
One of those projects around Lions
Oh,
Lake,
okay.
the sign,
Stay
or the rock, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, anything
or
around.
a combination of the two.
To be
depending on what it is.
Signage, pavilions.
They have a fish fry out there every year in that one behind the stage. So I'm sure they want
Yeah,
Oh, the pavilion.
to, if they were going to pick one, it would be that one.
Yeah.
maybe they could,
I think those
Maybe they
those
could do
pavilions are
one a-
really going
one
to
a
sharpen
year.
up that area out there.
Well, I put the lights under for them, but they paid for the lights under that pavilion. They paid for a couple of receptacles on.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you
Anything
guys-
else on the Parks report?
No. If anyone thinks of anything else between now and, I don't know,
Sparky, I don't know if this is appropriate time. I do have a
is.
question about the pool.
Okay,
I was at a meeting last night with Mayor Lucy, and she talked about the one day last week that they had to limit people coming in because we reached the 350 max that the pool can hold. How did they ever come up, and I'm not complaining or anything, but how did they come up with that number? Is that just because of the number of lifeguards, or is?
well, there's and so when I need to go back and look what the old max capacity at the old pool was, but I remember when I started, and I have notes on this somewhere, saved emails, where I came from. So that was a 100-meter pool, and I came from a place that had a 100-meter pool, and I don't remember right now off the top of my head what the max capacity was at my old place, my old job, and at our old pool here in Washington. But I remember coming here and I was like, the max capacity at our old pool at Agnes Nolting was way lower than the one I just came from, and the deck was way larger than the one I just came from. And I inquired about that with the fire. I said, who sets this here? And I was told the fire department did. And so I inquired with the fire department, and they told me how they figured it. And then I contacted our lifeguard company, and they told me how they figured it. And it would have been much higher. And I was like, well, it's no use fighting over this because we're going to have a new pool in a year or two anyways. So with that said, I made sure I got with the pool builder and the pool company, and I said, all right, what's the max capacity? The real max capacity of the new pool is like 500 and something. But I said, there's no, that's way higher than our old pool, and our old pool is bigger than this pool. And I said, there's no way that we could have 500 and something people in that pool. And he goes, well, he goes, that's how we figure it number-wise based on area and blah, blah, blah. He goes, I wouldn't recommend that. I said, okay, well, what do you recommend then as a pool builder, and we're going to be using your sister company as a lifeguard company? He goes, I would recommend 350. So that's how we came up with 350. It is much higher, so we're erring on the side of safety by having it lower. And I mentioned all this during department head this week on Monday, and the fire chief agreed with me. He goes, yeah, that's definitely the way to do is err on this lower side. So with that said, on Sunday, we were at max capacity. We were actually probably over, or we were over capacity. And so when we realized that, then we had to close the gates for a little while and not let people in until a certain number of people left. And so that was the first time in maybe ever that we ever had to do that. So it was new for everyone. And so we in department head meeting this week, I talked to Chief about when that happens, we may need some assistance from the police so we don't have riots and things like that at the pool. Does that,
I just Googled it, and can you read that, Dan, what it says?
20 square feet per person
And you
in
subtract,
5 feet of water.
In 5 feet of water.
and you subtract that 300 feet for each diving board, I think it says.
yeah, I think there's a lot of
The
factors.
calculation
Yeah.
determines.
There's a national calculation that turns that. And then I think from what I understand, fire departments may calculate it differently. I don't know.
I could see it running into a problem when it gets warm.
Yeah, that's what happened on Saturday, so. But I also heard, I don't know who told me that, maybe staff, that Union was at capacity too, that they had to turn people away on Sunday too. So,
First weekend, everybody got out.
yeah.
Or a year.
After a year.
Hey, Wayne, I got a question. And speaking of safety and concerns and that, what do we have in place in case of a severe thunderstorm, tornado type thing? I know we have the alarm systems throughout the city, but what would be our evacuation standard there?
Well, if they see lightning, or if there's a report of lightning, even if they don't see it, within the area, they have to get out of the pool and stay out of the pool for, I believe it's 30 minutes. And they have to be out. There has to be, I think, 30 minutes has to pass before they can get back in the pool.
Okay, so kind of like the same standard, I guess, up at the soccer fields then? 'Cause
Yes,
That's
yeah,
what theirs is.
similar, yeah.
Okay.
How, is capacity determined by the turnstile gate? Or is
No,
does the gate
when we
count?
get close, what we've been doing is when someone says, oh, wow, the pool looks really crowded, then they go out, and lifeguards go out and count. Now, I should say that the pool is 350 and then the splash pad is 66. So just so we're all clear on that. But yes, when, that's what's been happening is they go out and count then areas of the pool and then add them up and then,
And then, if mothers, fathers spectating but not swimming are counted as attendees?
yes,
Within the fenced area.
yes.
So what happens with those people? Do they go home? Do they wait outside until somebody leaves?
Well, you mean the people trying to get in?
Yeah, trying to get in.
Yeah, the ones from what I was told on Sunday, they just hung out for a while outside. And they counted every person that left and then reported to staff and said, 100 people left or 50 people left, can I come in now? That type of thing.
Okay, let's move on.
So,
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
But,
It's a good problem. It's just,
It's gonna
we
be a
have to be
problem.
consistent in how we're counting and how they're not letting people stand outside, and we shouldn't have the people tell us
yeah,
whether or not they
right.
can come in. I mean, we need to be a little more proactive.
Well, the police never have really had much of a presence there unless there was an issue.
Right.
And we called them, and so now I'm asking them, one, because it's a very popular place. We haven't had any issues yet, but it could become an issue with so many people in one spot, is to do a walkthrough just whenever they're driving by the pool, if they could stop and just walk through the deck.
Yep.
Just so there's, people see them. And then the other request I had for Chief was that when we do have to do max capacity stuff, that they send someone out kind of as a body, not a bodyguard, but kind of stand guard at the gate just so things don't escalate or get out of hand.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And so that's going to be all new for the police because they've never had to do that before.
Right.
Good question, Dan. Old business. Oh, communications from the audience. I forgot that one. Casey, do you have anything? Okay, old business?
Old business, so the aquatic facility ribbon cutting, thanks for coming out. I think most of you or all of you are there. I probably didn't get to talk to everyone. I talked to some of you. Thought it was a great event. One thing that I took away from it, well, one of the few things I took away from it, was Westport mentioned, they build these pools all over the country, And they said that they've never been involved in a ribbon cutting like that with all the people and the food and just everything. They
was
really
top-
thought a lot of it. They thought it
top-notch.
was a neat
was
ribbon.
You guys
cutting.
did a great job.
Yeah, it was. It was very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming, and all the work and support you guys did throughout the whole, it was many years. I've only been here 2.5 years, but it started before that, so surveys and even before that, so it's been a long time coming. But very nice event. I know I've only heard nothing but good things about it, so very cool. Next, I had the Lake Pavilion color selection. Just want to give you an update. So we went with the Terra Brown posts with the colonial red roof. I think that'll look nice. We were able to get that ordered before June 1st. After June 1st, we were going to see a 5% increase in steel prices. So we're good there. We're locked in for the electric for pavilions 2 and 3. After I took it from here to council asked if, with the rock, so the rock price was approximately $33,000. They wanted to see if we could find an alternate to the rock, still have something on the post, but not necessarily rock, which it was suggested in that meeting that it would be like stamped concrete, so similar to what we have on the main stage there, the bottom portion of the main stage. And if we save money on that, then maybe we could afford the electric for Pavilion 1 off Grand Avenue. Now, that was an alternate in the bid process. That was not on our radar. My boss, Darren, had us add that to the bid at the last minute just to see what the number would be in case we wanted to do it down the road. Council wanted me to look at that based on the cost of electric and copper and things like that. But I don't have any, we don't have people clamoring to have electric at Pavilion 1. It's not like I'm getting lots of complaints or anything like that. So long story short, I looked at options for rock on the posts. And so we have natural rock that was, the bid was 33 something, a little over 33,000. Alternate, or not alternate, but another option in place of the natural rock would be stamped concrete. We got a estimate on that. The concrete vendor on that one could not do caps for it, and he could not guarantee that it wouldn't crack. So with the stamped concrete and the caps, it was approximately 28,000. So a little less than the natural rock. And then another alternate someone mentioned to me would be to have man-made rock, which looks like natural rock. And this, if it was chipped, it would still be the same color through. It wouldn't just be, if it was chipped, a lot of times you see gray underneath. And it wouldn't be like that. And that estimate came in at like 26 something. So that was the first council meeting in May, I think it was. I took it back to them this week, and they said, don't do the natural rock, don't do the stamped concrete, go out to bid for the man-made rock, which is good. I think it'll look nice. So I'll be doing that this summer. But we're locked in for electric on pavilions 2 and 3. So the 2 pavilions across from the stage will have electric in those, and we're locked in to steel for all 3 pavilions.
You can add that rock at any time, right?
Yes, we can.
Or whatever
yeah.
you're doing.
Ideally, we want to do it this fall when we're doing the pavilions, though. We'd like to do it right away, so.
How high?
4 feet, I believe.
4, okay.
For a future.
So,
What, the electric on the, what pavilion, you talking about the one behind main stage?
those 2, yes.
Yeah, those two.
They got electric in them.
Yes.
They're
Well,
going
we want
bye-bye.
we want the new ones to have electric.
Did you get any specifications from the fair or?
As far as, I mean, we're putting in more outlets and everything, more than what we have currently.
Is it 200 amps?
Yes. We're not going lower.
Okay.
We don't generally do that. We try to
Well, I know that's.
compensate for a
It's
lot
kind
of
of
stuff.
screwed up because that fountain was in there at one time. Now that fountain's in the other service or by the stage. I just know that it's different things.
Oh,
And I know they've run from the pavilion behind the stage over to the one to the west. That's,
The two.
that's not very deep in the ground, I can tell you that.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, well,
curious, you know, what amperage these average concerts pull with all their lights, you know, and their amps and all that?
well, that would be at
That's
the
the
main stage
There-
there.
That's what-
There's an 800 amp service, a 600 amp service, and a single phase 600 amp service.
I was gonna say 200 amps, just doesn't seem like it's gonna.
No.
No, the stage is taken care of.
Yeah, that's totally different, but I can send you, if you want, I can send you the specs of whatever that we bid out and everything, just to.
I was just curious.
Okay.
I don't-
I was sick when you sent that, somebody did send that to me.
Oh, yeah, I think I may have. Yeah, we did send it out. I think I did send it, so. Anyways, I think that's it with the pavilions, unless you all have more questions?
Does 200 amp cover the,
What
what
they-
you got, you know, your coolers and ice
Yeah.
chests and everything else you set up there?
And if there's 200 in the other one, that's even better, because they're running both out of one right
Another
now.
one, yeah, we get that, another one, you'll just run in less.
I just wanted to be aware that there is a conduit in the ground. It's not marked, and
Okay, yeah, I'll make a note of that here.
I would tell you there's a 3-inch conduit underneath the road, but I don't remember where we put it.
And did you put a piece of metal in it so you can find it?
No. Nope. We buried it a long time ago.
All right.
Anything else on the pavilion? Nothing? Playground at Phoenix Park?
Oh, yeah. So playground, just want to give you a quick update. Council accepted the Park Board's recommendation of moving the Phoenix Park Playground from 2026 up to next fiscal year, which would be 2022. I am looking, per your request, at having options available for the little kids, so 5 and under. And this process of moving things around, so that would move the park shop project back. I'm still working with my boss on what year that will fall. But then the council will be working on all this, on how the projects fall. You know, they'll be basically moving this up. This will happen in August during their budget process, so.
Hey, Wayne, I have a question.
Yes.
It's kind of a general question. Has it been discussed yet as far as what will happen with the internet sales tax? You know, now that Missouri is going to charge a sales tax on internet sales, as far as the repercussions for the city of Washington and additional monies?
I haven't heard. That would be
Okay.
probably a Darren question, maybe, or Sal.
I didn't know if in meetings it
I haven't
had been-
heard anything yet.
it had
about
been
it.
discussed and people, you know, saying, well, maybe we'll get this or,
Yeah, no, I haven't heard.
okay.
anything. Sorry.
It's in it.
Wayne, the playground out there, is that supposed to be more of a natural type playground? Originally, I know that whole area was supposed to be more natural out there.
That's what I.
We still going
That's
that
what I
route?
put in.
Okay.
I'm working on getting some designs to y'all, but that's what when I put in the request, that it have, you know, natural themed
Okay,
stuff.
We need a field trip to that new area out of Forest Park.
Yeah.
yeah.
It looks good. It does look good out there. The other thing I noticed is down by the skateboard park, just for information, there's a piece of playground equipment back behind the skateboard.
Yes.
And that is geared to little kids. It looks like, because it just slides.
small.
So I'm thinking, you know, when people say it's not big, it's like the piece of equipment you were showing us at the last meeting, but it's got, I think, 3 little slides on it, back in there. So there, for at least for now, it's
And-
not that far away.
That having been said, there's one down in Teeman Valley as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, there are a few locations until we can get what the people in that area are asking for.
Yeah, when someone called the office in the spring, I referred them down to Teeman Valley, to that one. And
Yeah.
even the one at Lions Lake, which is kind of rough, I think that's got smaller stuff.
Yeah.
too.
The one on the south, or the one on the north side of the lake it's it's decent.
Well, the one by the skateboard park is just one unit that like we were looking at, and it's got three slides.
Mhm.
3 little slides on it. So I mean, it's not great, but it's something at least to,
On that side of town.
yep. And it looks like it's in good shape,
Yeah,
so.
it's older, but yeah. They had some, I think graffiti on it recently, but we were luckily able to get it off. Anything else about Phoenix Park Playground?
New business.
New
Lake
business?
Pavilion's rock and electric update. Can we go to the next subject?
I think, yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think we covered that.
I think we have. Main park sidewalks and netting.
So,
I saw the pictures, look nice.
yes, we are, as I mentioned earlier, like I said, our next kind of project on my list was those poles and the netting, but that was before the whole sod thing popped up, and like I said, I dragged guys off that and have them do the sod. So now we're back to putting up the netting to protect the kids on the playground, and the poles. So the poles, 3 of the 4 poles have been installed. The final one will be installed tomorrow. Then we'll have to let the concrete cure on those poles, and then next week, weather permitting, we'll be installing the netting to protect the kids in the playground. Also, at the same time, have sidewalks going in via KJU out there. And so if you've been out there, you may have noticed, and I think I talked about it at least at a meeting a while ago, that we're connecting to the new sidewalk that came up Circle Drive Hill by the old pool house and kind of terminated there. We connected to that one. It runs in front of the old bathhouse, parallel to the parking lot, and then we'll cross the parking lot, and we'll probably get a little paint on the parking lot, like a crosswalk. And then it'll run over to start at Main Park, and then run to those new playgrounds and kind of Y off and split off, so people can get to each little pad there. So
Then will it eventually go around the playgrounds and to the park that comes from Second Street, or the sidewalk that comes from
Yes.
Second Street?
yes, and they have one section. They do have one section coming off that already complete, but it's a section you might not be able to see it from the street. It's more towards the pavilion, but it does connect to that kind of sidewalk by the bathrooms there. And then there'll be another section further down that will connect, like right around where the swings are, that area in there, and the main structure. So that's moving along, and we'll be happy to be done with that soon.
Next is fairgrounds, asphalt and ceiling.
This was also kind of one of those things that didn't necessarily pop up, but we realized this spring, April-ish, I was talking to John Nilgis from Public Works, and we had a plan last year during the budget session to do some work at the fairgrounds and budgeted money, and trying to get him and I together to get out there to survey what needed to be done and come up with a plan has been, with all the other projects, kind of cumbersome. But we finally got out there, and we're like, dang, we need to get on this quick so it's all dry, like the ceiling and everything's dry for the fair. And so he came up with a plan, some engineering drawings, and we're working, both departments, again, street department and parks department, working together to get some concrete put in, and then the whole fairground sealed, and then some new asphalt around the swine pavilion area.
Oh, nice.
So that asphalt through that section's pretty rough and pretty old, so it was due for a replacement. And so I had about $30,000 budgeted in my money for for asphalt in the park system. And then with that ARA money, the American Recovery Act, kind of tourism money, we're able to use some of that $20,000 to do the rest of the project. So hopefully after next couple weeks, we should be in good shape for a little while anyways.
Now, will you reinstall your concrete Lego storage facility that you took down?
Oh, yes,
For mulch
yes.
and et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera?
We took it out because I think the initial plan was just to asphalt up to it, and we didn't really like that, so we took them out, and then they're going to asphalt that whole.
Makes for a smoother surface to load and unload, load anyway.
And we're also Going to the RV dump station area, we're gonna rework that a little bit so it's easier to get in and out. We're gonna make it a little wider so you can get your truck and trailer in there better. Because it's kind of narrow and more of a U-shaped, where this will be more of a, not necessarily straight, but more straight of a exit. So that'll be good. I think that's it with that, unless anyone else has got any
Main
questions.
stage roof, RFQ, I mean, you talked,
Main stage roof, RFQ. So RFQ went out, we received 2 RFQs back. The committee, which is composed of myself and John Nilgis, Darren Lamb, and then Fair Board members. Those RFQs are currently being scored. They're due back to me Friday at noon, and then we'll have a meeting next week, kind of sit down, see where we go, and then we'll be taking that to council, and you'll be hearing more about that project too. So
That's gonna be the largest laying part.
things are moving along.
good.
Great.
Any other questions, comments, subjects to be brought up? No?
Yes.
Yes?
Let's welcome Mr. Reed to our
Oh, yeah.
meeting.
Oh, good going.
Good one, Gavin,
that?
yes.
Dwayne Reed,
Yeah.
our council liaison. Welcome.
Welcome,
Yes.
Dwayne.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Thank you. Coming.
I have
And
something
then
before
we're
you.
talking about our July
Wait,
14th.
wait.
I'm sorry?
That might be what you're going to say about the soccer meeting, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand that parking thing? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that
Okay, all right.
Wayne has suggested that we have the July 14th meeting up at the soccer field in the sun.
No, under the
the-
At the
pavilion.
at the high pavilion.
At the High Pavilion.
I had to put that in there.
Until we tear it down.
I told Gavin the other day, he stopped me in the park, and I said, well, I had to put that in there, because one time I said soccer pavilion, and people were like, what are you talking about?
So is everybody in agreement with that?
Good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good
So
idea.
I will try to get,
5:30, same time though, just at
Yeah,
that pavilion.
just.
right now, I mean, I'll try to get the soccer board there, or at least more than one person. Hopefully 5:30's.
At least 2.
Yeah, hopefully 5:30 is okay with their people. If not, I'll let you know.
If they don't, then I don't.
And we can discuss whatever you want to discuss. So if you have hot topics that you'd like to discuss, let me know and I can put them on the agenda. I'll try to limit other items in case we get into lengthy discussions when it's 95 degrees outside. But probably we need to discuss scheduling in between games, the parking lot issues, things like that.
Use of the fields.
Competition,
Use of the fields, yes.
competition for the fields?
Yeah, maybe that
Yeah.
will have played out a little more by then. Maybe we'll know some more. I found some videos on Facebook page
Police department.
that explain a little bit about that.
Wayne, with this extra money that the city is going to acquire here, I guess, on these funds, is any of that been proposed for that change of parking up there at those fields? You know how we talked about this a few months ago?
No, the requirements are very specific on what it can be used for. And that, the city administrator asked staff for different projects. But like I said, it's very specific, and probably a lot of the money, I think, will be used. It was in the paper. There's been different stories on it, but think about internet and things like that. There was a tourism part of it, and so that's how we're getting part of the fairgrounds paid with that money. Excuse me, sorry. What we're proposing to do at the soccer parking lot for this year, for the near future anyways, is to, it's not going to be a ton of money. The city's not going to be spending a ton of money on it, because basically we're just ripping out bushes and stuff like that, and then we'll be putting down a base and millings, which we already have in-house. And obviously getting rid of the soccer pavilion and reconfiguring it that way. That'll be another project that I'm gonna have to, the Parks Department work with probably the street department on doing, hauling millings and rock and stuff like that too. So right now, the city does not envision spending a bunch of money on that project because we have a lot of it in-house, and it'll be just, a lot of it will be manpower. Long-term goal, though, we need to look at, and I'll have to look at repaving that whole parking lot and all that stuff, so.
Okay, so our next meeting is at the soccer field on July 14th. There will be no August meeting because of the fair, correct?
Yes.
And then, a meeting in September. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion.
A motion by Bob.
Second.
And second by Debbie. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Good one.
Yeah,
You too.
good job, Spark.
Yep. Wait, another